Alright.
Yeah.
Dpr のアントワンです。今回は産卵後のメスの毛と卵の管理を紹介します。Right? That's pretty good?
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Alright, okay, cool. Dpr のアントワンです。今回は産卵後のメスの毛と卵の管理。No? Yeah? 毛と
Care.
Care.
That's good.
No care. Care.
Yeah.
Like
you say like a Japanese accent.
Okay, like
Okay.
I think you understand what we're talking about. Okay? All right. You guys know what we're talking about. It's going to be about females, eggs, the whole process. And to start off is, what do we do after a female just laid her clutch? What is the process? How do we get her back on feeding? How do we get her back in shape for next season breeding? What do we take care for that female after she laid? So right now, most of the females that are here, actually this one has been taken care of. We're gonna go back. And we can stop about here. All right, so this female, she's a lesser hypo G-striped clown. She laid 3 days ago, and I did not yet have time to go through that whole process and to clean her. So after the female laid, obviously, when she was building for eggs, she's pushed all the substrate around. She coiled, she had her eggs in the center. We took the eggs out, we put them in the incubator. Now, what do we do with that female to get her back on feeding? The first thing is basically, we're gonna need to change the whole substrate. We're gonna need to wash the tub, change the water. But the one thing that I like to do is actually to clean that female with a gentle soap. And the reason why I do that, so basically, I'll get some soap in my hand, I'll get a good amount. I'll take the female and I'll rub her with soap all along the body to remove the smell of that clutch. And that smell is also at the bottom of that bin because the egg still smells very strong. There's some pheromones in there, and you want to remove all of that from the female so that when you clean the whole bin, you add new substrate, you change the water, the female doesn't have any of that smell stuck on her, and when you put her in, it's a reset, and now she can go back on eating. So that's the process that I do. I'll show you a female that I've done that process to already. And also you want to make sure to really wash off the soap. You don't want a female super soapy to go in there. But this is a female that laid. Now she had 3 meals after laying. And you can see this female is not in a position where she has pushed the substrate. She's not in a coiling position when she would be taking care of her eggs. She's big, obviously because she had a few meals, but she's just basically fully reset, back on food, no problem. What would happen if, for example, the female, after we wash her, we change the substrate, she goes back in the center, she pushes the substrate, she recreates that circle with no substrate in the center. That means that you didn't really get rid of that smell properly. So maybe try a different soap, maybe rewash your whole bin, especially scrub the bottom where the eggs were laid, because if there's still some smell, that female could still think she's covering those eggs and that she's maternally incubating the clutch. That's not what we want. We want a fresh restart and just try to redo that washing again. On the facility, you'll look most of the females with the pink tag. We went over this before, but the pink tag is basically a female that's building follicles. And then the green tag is a female that have laid. So we have a female on eggs. This is a very special female for me because it's one of the first babies that I've ever produced. She came out of my second clutch of all time in 2016. And this is a banana enshi. She has a very nice paradox, like a birthmark on her neck. And she is a very good, reliable breeder, but also a female that I really, really like. So when it comes to taking off the eggs, I always kind of go with my hands, unless the female is very, very defensive. This female is very mellow, she's super sweet, so I don't think she's going to be that defensive. But usually what you would do, you could use a Scott towel like that, a roll of paper, a bottle, whatever you want to use, and you can just touch gently her head to move her out of the eggs. And then what you do, you put your hand above the head and you go reach for the tip of the tail, because she's gonna try to curl and wrap around those eggs. So you want to remove that tail. You see how the tail is underneath? If you just pull on it, the eggs would go all over the place. So you take the tail, you open the female like this, put her on the side, and we have a very beautiful clutch like that. I will take a picture actually of the female on her clutch for my clutch records, and I take a picture of all my animals on eggs. All right, there you go. So like that, we have it, and we're not gonna miss it. And you see her mother instincts is already to go and curl up back on those eggs. So how many? I have 3, 6, 9, 10. 10 eggs, which is a very nice number. We're gonna put the eggs right here, put the female back, and then you can refer to the other part of the video to talk about what to do with the female afterwards. I'm gonna take that actually. Has nothing to do in there. Okay, so now we have eggs, and we're gonna show you what we do with them. So now we have the eggs. We're gonna go over the incubation mediums. There's a lot of different ways that you can go with it. You could use vermiculite like this. You could use perlite, which is basically a white vermiculite. You could do it on water only and have some sort of a separation between the water and the eggs. You don't want the eggs to never touch the water. I always use vermiculite. That's what I've been doing for 10 years, and that's what I'm always doing. I will pour some room temperature water, and I always do it by feeling. So I put a little bit of water like this. See, about a little bit less than a full cup, which is not that much. And you just go with your fingers, you mix it. You want to make sure that all the corners of dry vermiculite are mixed with the wet one. And you'll feel like in your fingers, you'll feel the dry one is very loose, and the one that's humid tends to like clump up in a cluster, and that's what we want. And then this, to me, seems very loose. We'll add a little bit more water. Something like this. A little bit more water. You see, the parts that have a lot of water tend to, I don't know if we can, I kind of mixed it before, but the parts that have a lot of water will tend to all clog and cluster together. And if you press on it, I see this one's not too bad, but if you take, let's do the example. If you take some vermiculite like this one is drenched in water. If you press on it and you see water coming out, it is oversaturated. So there's too much water. What you want is vermiculite that when you press on it, it stays kind of in a shape. It's still loose, but if you press and you squeeze, you see it stays in a shape. But no matter how hard I squeeze on this, I'm not gonna have any water coming out of it. So this is saturated. It has water, so it stays in one puck like that, but it's not too saturated that the eggs will absorb some of that water, that excess water. That's going to be too much. So now all the eggs are in a cluster like that, so all stuck together. Sometimes they won't be, sometimes they are. Most of the time they are all in a cluster like that together. You could incubate them just like this. Obviously my lid is going to be too high, so what do I do? Sometimes I'll basically try to go and push the vermiculites on the side, try to let it fit nice and tidy, and you look, that would be good. You see, it's flush with the top, it won't touch. The important thing is you don't want one egg to touch the top. Towards the second part of incubation, so towards the last weeks, there's going to be a lot of condensation on the sides and on the lid, and that would be water touching the egg, and that could make it go bad. If you ever have to separate some eggs because your incubation box is too small and your clutch is way too big, I'll show you the method to do it. Obviously the eggs are stuck. They will be very sticky when they come out, and they get stuck to each other. So when you pull on it, you see that the membrane is all attached. What you don't want to do is take the egg and rip it apart one big time. This is by far the best way to rip an egg and tear it open, which would not kill the baby. By the way, you could put some little tape on top if you have a slit and it's still fine. What I like to do, it's called, in medicine, it's called blunt dissection. So basically I put my finger on it and I press with my finger. So that way all the strands, all the little parts that are still attached will not stick to each other. I push with my finger and I go as long as it's easy. I'll go one side. And if it's difficult, you take the egg from the other side and you do the exact same thing. See, this one was very, very easy. So that would be a way to do it. You could technically do it with all of the eggs, but if you have a big clutch like this, just the ones on the side. So let's say this one here, and see, this is gonna be easy. Like that. Let's do it from the other side now. There you go, very easy. See, one side was really hard. You pull it to the other side, very easy. So now you have a much more manageable clutch that would fit in most incubation boxes. So now this is no problem. You won't have any risk of having any eggs on top. So now that we've done this, we're gonna bring this inside of the incubator, put the light on top to see where the embryo is. We're gonna talk about the embryo, and then we're gonna put the press and seal over the top. All right, we're now in the incubator. You see you already have plenty of clutches set up. We're gonna close the light real quick. I'm gonna take my phone, open the flashlight, and here's how you basically go and candle the egg. You wanna see with your light where the embryo is. So you see all the veins? You wanna reach to the point where you have the most veins, where they all go together, and there's gonna be a part in the center that wiggles, that moves, basically. You see it? So that is where the embryo is, and there is some air inside of that. You don't want to incubate your egg upside down. So you wanna have your egg like this. That would basically kill the embryo. What you wanna have is the embryo up on top. So the part that wiggles, you keep it on top. You can put a mark on it if you want, if you're scared that something moves, but usually in those bins, it doesn't really move. So we'll do it like that. See, the embryo is, let's find the embryo in this one. The embryo is right here on top. This one, all right, so this is an interesting thing. The female laid the clutch today. You see the embryo, and this one is on top, this one is on the bottom. What you could do, you could basically pull them apart and place them properly, but you could also just angle it in a way that here the embryo would kind of be like right here. Put more vermiculite and I'll incubate like this. Because it's the first day and the embryo is gonna move inside. If you wait 3-4 days, the embryo is really gonna stuck on one side, and by putting it upside down, you're gonna kill it. But because she laid this morning, we can still move it around and it'll be fine. So usually I wouldn't disturb that pile too much. Just want to see the embryo is on the side. It's probably gonna move. My fingers in the front. So the embryo is on the side there. Perfect. This one, perfect. See this one, the embryo is right here. Perfect. Good, 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 and good. Perfect. All right, we have all of our embryos set up. Open the light again. Remove this. Now, press and seal. This is not something that I've been doing in the past. I started doing this this year only, but the main reason to do that is to keep the humidity that we created initially by making the vermiculite inside of the egg laying box. So that is a really good thing, obviously. Flies won't be able to get into. This is something we have a lot of problem of little flies here in the summer. In Montreal, we have a lot of them. We try to get rid of them in the facility. Sometimes they go in the incubator and they will go in the eggs. And this is definitely not something that we want. So by having this is an extra protection against the flies, against anything going inside. So now we have the clutch. I'm gonna label it. Basically, I put all the information of the pairing. So this was a very simple pairing. It's not a crazy female. It's a chocolate yellow belly clone hypo male. That's a Dpr 2022 production to a banana and sheep, no head. So very simple pairing, nothing crazy, but I like to breed this female because she always gives good clutches. We are, so this female laid on May 13 and she will be due on July 10th. That's 58 days, and this is a 10 egg clutch. And this is Dpr 2520. So all the information I need, we have the late date, the expectancy, how many eggs, what's the number of the clutch, and what is the pairing. So now that will go on the pile, basically underneath. That's how we'd be doing it for the last 10 years, and Brian has been doing it for like over 20 years. So that's kind of the best incubation method.
ということでですね、皆さんこんにちは。まあなんかリュウさんのコンテンツ、パトロンのコンテンツの動画につけてたみたいな、まあ、前回の動画ちょっとついてたんだけど、ラジオはもう本当にね、みんな信じられない人もいるでしょ。お前マジかよみたいなね、今思ってる人もいるんじゃないかなってね、すごいこう稀な需要があったのでやらせていただいてたんですけど、でまあパトレオンっていうちょっとこうクローズコミュニティ、まあコミュニティのね場だったんで、いろいろぶっちゃけたお話とかもいっぱいできたんですよね。だから例えば海外、まあ、こうやって来てみていろんなねお話聞いたりとか、ブリーダーさんお話聞いてて、やっぱりその理想と現実だったりとかがいっぱいあるわけじゃないですか。だからね、いろいろぶっちゃけたお話ができたんですけど、まあ YouTube に上げてさ、まあ、不特定多数の方が見るってなるとやっぱり難しいティだよねみたいな感じでね思うわけですよ。まあだからまあ今までみたいな感じで結構ズバズバとした結構なんて言うんだろうね、ズバズバとしたまあたまにこう闇に触れるというかさ、会話の闇に触れるみたいなお話とかはちょっとなかなかできにくいんですけど、まあなんか気になることがあったらDM してください。ボイスメッセージで全部送るので、ということでですね、今回の動画もご覧いただき誠にありがとうございました。まあアントワンとのこういうエデュケーションビデオは、まあこういうちょっとハウトゥー系のねビデオは定期的に今後も上げていきたいなと思います。これはまあもちろんこれからブリードしたいよって方だったりとか、もうすでにしてるけどどういうやり方が他にあるんだろうとか、こっちの、まあ、カナダだったりとかね、こっちではどういうやり方がされてるんだろうっていうので気になる方は見ていただいてっていう感じのあれなんですけど、まあ僕の勉強にもなるしね。僕の勉強に言っても僕は別にねブリーダーになりたいかっていうと別にそうでもないし、ブリーダーは全然目指してないんですけど、ただボールが好きで、まあ、ボールが好きな人にいろんな情報を共有したいっていうのがあるので、まあ、ボランティア活動というかねもうこれもだってさ、別にこんな編集とか字幕つけるのもやらなくていいじゃないですか、正直問題。まあでもせっかく僕がこういう風にいて日本でねお客様として関わらせていただいた方だったりとか、たくさんまあ会ったことないけど僕のこと知ってくださってインスタとかでね絡んでいただいてとか、そういった方に向けてちょっとでもね、なんか X って平和じゃないじゃんだからまあちょっとでもこうふわっとね見ていただいて、まあ、ふわっと見れるかつ情報もしっかり使えるような情報も、手に入れれるような、場所を作ろうかなっていうので、これを配信してます。だから、結構気ままにやってますけど、なんかそうなんかリクエストがあったら言ってください。まあ僕が出すコンテンツ、まあアントワンとやるコンテンツも撮りたいし、僕がやるコンテンツとしてはその DPR のねブリードも結構出てきてて、今期はまあデザゴペイントクラウンとかそこら辺も狙いたいねみたいな感じでどんどんやってる、卵も取れてるんだけど、まあ同時にハイポクラウン、まあ、僕がゴーストクラウン好きだからってのもあるんだけど、やろうっつって一緒にやってくれて、で出てくると思うので、まあもちろんゴリラとかもそうなんだけど、そういったところをね皆さんに少しずつご紹介、もちろん全部じゃないんだけど少しずつご紹介させていただいて、ああいうこういうの生まれてるんだなみたいなね、でまあ見ていただいて、まあ気になる方はお声かけいただいて、業者の方は お声かけいただいて結構日本の業者さんだともう大手のっていうとあれですけどね、もう何度か DPR から輸入したことあるよって方は僕の知ってる中だけでも結構ねいらっしゃいますけど、その DPR ってシッパーかまさずにそのまま輸出できるので、皆さんがねよくなんかX でちらっと僕も見かけましたけど、なんかそのシッパー絡ませたらそこでねリスクなんじゃないかってね、そのウイルス問題とかのね、確かに何でもリスクだろうとか僕は思っちゃいますけど、ずっとところも少しはご安心かなのかなっていうふうに思います。あとはやっぱ楽だと思うしね。だから例えばすごく大きいお店をやってるわけじゃないんだけど、ブリード力入れててブリーダーとして頑張っているんですとか頑張っていきたいんですみたいな方とかはね、個人輸入とかもご対応させていただくこと可能なので、もしなんかね気になることがあれば何でも聞いてもらえればなっていうふうに思います。はい、ということで、ここまで聞いてくださってる方が何人いるか問題ですけどね、僕なら聞かないしねだからここまで聞いていただいた方には、僕からの愛をお届けしますということでですね、これからコンテンツちょこちょこ出していきたいなっていうふうに思ってるので、そこも楽しみにしていただければと思いますね。なんか、前みたいに前さラジオって僕40分か50分1時間ぐらいラジオ撮ってたんですけど、さすがにさそんな話してるとさね大変なことになっちゃうからそんなに需要もないしねそうだからでも、僕は僕なりにちょっとコンプライアンスをねそのパトレオンじゃないからコンプライアンスを高めに意識しながらコンテンツは出すので刺激は足りなくはなるとは思うんですけど、どっかのねライブなんていうの、いやでもさインスタライブとかさ X のあれなんていうんだっけ、あれ X のなんかあるじゃん、みんなでお話しするところみたいな、やりづらいよねみたいな。いやなんかさ一応僕は日本のショップさんのどこにも所属してないし、日本っていう立場からしたら僕はただのね日本に住んでないただの一般成人男性みたいな感じなんで何言ってもいいんだろうけど、でもなんかやっぱりなんて言うんだろうな、その発言が僕が意図してなかった意味合いで広がっていったりとかももちろん考えられるわけで、そういったことも怖いよなみたいなさ思いながらできる限りぶっちゃけた話はねでもデューさんのパトレオンには引き続き僕は何個かいろいろ情報は出していくので無料でね無料でね、これボランティアですから僕やってるの皆さんすごいでしょ。僕この動画全部ボランティアなんですね。ここまで聞いていただいた方はですねぜひコメントにボランティアありがとう、ぜひ打ち込んでください。やっぱりねもうあれらしいですよ、学んだんです。なんか人間っていうのは週だっけな、1週間につき100時間ぐらいのそのボランティア活動はそのしてる人間を幸福にしてくれるらしいんですね。これ合ってるか間違ってるかちょっとどうでもいいんですけど、僕は合ってると思って生きてますということでねらしいのでボランティアを皆さんもやっていきましょうということでね早く日本帰りたいということで、このボランティアをしたまずこのさ見返りを求めてる時点でボランティアじゃねえだろとか俺は思っちゃうんですけど、ボランティアをしたね見返りで僕が日本に帰った時にちょっとご飯やっぱ日本食恋しいし、もうなんか本当に汚い居酒屋とか行きたいんですよ。いやごめんなさいね、これ言葉があれかもしれない、これ炎上するでしょ、どうせまたこれ炎上するんでしょあんただし、飲食店に対して汚いって何なんですか、汚いっていう言葉を使うあなたが汚いんじゃないですかみたいなコメントを書きたい人は書いてくださいそのついでになんだろう、じゃあついでにチャンネル登録とかねしといたらいいんじゃないですか。はいということで、このぐらいにしときましょうね。それでは皆さんいい夜を。